Welcome everyone, my name's Jonathan Grothy with Game Crackers, and we're here today to learn how to play AFL, Andromeda Fight League. So AFL here, they've got a fun booklet that's going to tell you the story. I'm going to give you the quick summary. It's the Millennial Wars, they've ended, and it's the time of peace in the galaxies, in the absence of all the conflict. The great warriors, enchanters, creatures, and engineers, they yearn to use their gifts of combat and skill. And so to fill this all, they created the Andromeda Fight League. So in AFL, you're going to assemble a team of 10 fighters, and then using 5 of your selected fighters, fight against another player. And whoever can knock out the opponent's fighters first is the winner of that round. So, on to our components.
First, we have our fighter cards. Their level is in the upper right from 1 to 9, attack and defense on the left, movement and magic on the right, health in the middle, and power attack down below. Each of them has a matching avatar tile that you will be moving and using on the physical map.
Next, we have the magic cards. In this deck is full of all kinds of spells used to modify your fighters, modify the board, or modify other magic cards themselves. Their cost is in the upper right, the ability is on the bottom, and there are 3 different types: basic, equip, and fast. Basic and equip can be used anytime during your turn, and fast magic can be used anytime whatsoever. Next, we have our terrain boards. These are the physical map that you will be fighting on. On them, you have regular terrain in green, roads in gray that help you move faster, warp gates that warp you across the board, and obstructions and holes, neither of which you can move through, but holes you can attack over. So the game is played in 3 phases. There's the drafting phase to assemble your team, the setup phase to set up the board and place your fighters, and finally the battle where it all takes place. Now if this is your first time playing AFL, we suggest that instead of drafting, you go to page 6 of the rulebook and use one of the pre-made decks. So first, we draft our fighters. The fighters are sorted in 4 groups. The yellow group being the lowest levels, then green, blue, and red being the highest levels. When drafting, you must have at least 1 yellow, and you can have no more than 3 blue and 2 red. So, roll the dice to see who goes first. They take the deck and draft back and forth until you've drafted 10 fighters. Once you have your 10, take the matching avatar tiles for your fighters. Next, we draft the magic cards, same style, all the way until you have 8. And finally, draft 2 terrain boards. Now for the setup phase.
First, you take your terrain boards, figure out which way you want to orient them, creating a unique terrain map for each skirmish.
Next, you pick your fighters. We will actually only be using 5 of the 10 fighters. So shuffle your deck and draw the first 6 fighters. If it's impossible to make a team of 5 whose total level is between 22 and 26, shuffle them all back up and try again until you can. Once you've picked them, get the matching avatar tiles and get ready to set them up.
Then you roll the dice. High number gets to pick whether to place and battle first or second. After that, place your avatar tiles one at a time on the board. You'll notice on the back is the fighter level. This is to help you figure out what your opponent is doing and strategize accordingly. Once they've all been placed, flip them face up. After that, we each get 1 adjustment turn to move one of our fighters. We're going to move the Ebon Dragon. When moving, roll the dice. Compare it to the movement of your fighter. Whichever one is lower, which is the 1 in this case, is how many spaces they can move. So we move 1 space. Next, player 2 gets to move. Since he's moving his gray enchanter, we're going to skip rolling the dice because he has a maximum movement of 1 anyways. Finally, we reveal all of the fighter cards for everyone to see, but make sure you keep your magic cards hidden from your opponent. Now, let's start the battle. Each turn during battle, you can choose one character to move and fight with. We're gonna pick the Beast in the Shadows. So roll for movement. He gets his standard 2, 1, 2, but since he started and ended on a road, he moves one further, warping all the way next to the airborne Fire Beast. Each character has a standard attack, and some characters have a power attack. You can use either, but we're gonna use the standard attack on the airborne Fire Beast. Now, standard attacks can attack anything next to them, but not diagonally. So when you attack, you're gonna roll the dice to see if you miss, hit, or critical, with a 1 being a miss, 2 through 5 being a hit, and 6 being critical, which doubles the damage. Since we rolled a 5, we do our standard 29 damage to the airborne Fire Beast. He has 23 defense, absorbing it and taking only 6 damage counters to his fighter card. Now since he survived, he gets a counter attack. Since he rolled a 6, the airborne Fire Beast critical hits, doubling his damage from 33 to 66, more than enough to destroy the Beast in the Shadows. So we're gonna remove his avatar tile from the game and put it face down on the side. Now it is player 2's turn. First, he's gonna use 10 magic from the Gray Enchanter to cast Seismic Shift, rotating one of the boards up to 180 degrees. Next, he picks his Ultra Bird to move and attack this turn, although he's gonna skip moving and use his power attack, Whirling Blades. When using a power attack, you must roll the dice and can still miss on a roll of 1. Whirling Blades can only be used once per game and destroys every fighter in a diagonal line straight from the Ultra Bird, destroying both the Magical Warrior and the Ebon Dragon, removing them from the game. The players will now continue to alternate turns battling, and the first player to destroy all of their opponent's fighters is the winner of the skirmish. Best 2 out of 3 skirmishes wins the match.
So now that we've assembled our teams, let's get our butts out there and find out who's the best in the Andromeda Fight League.